Hey everyone. Okay, so why was I so bullish last week? There's a reason for that. I can go back in history to see what exactly happens when times of war happen, okay? Especially in the Middle East. I'm going to cover that. It's going to make you very bullish. If you want to be a bear, then just turn this off right now because you're going to hate this video. Okay, but first we have the US dollar index on the verge of falling to its lowest level since 2022. Look at this graph. Here you go. I expect this number to keep on dropping because of tariffs, because of many other things, and I'm going to cover some of those things as well in this video. It's not looking good, okay? So Bitcoin dominance also just hit about 5% from its 71% mark, all right? What's so big about 71%? When alt season starts, Bitcoin usually tops. Bitcoin dominance usually tops at 71% or at or around 71%. We're about 5% away from that. I am so bullish on alts as well. If you don't think alt season is going to happen, then you're essentially saying people aren't going to be greedy anymore. Give me a break. People are going to be very greedy in the future. They're going to FOMO in. All those people that sold at $70,000, you know, that 35% correction we just had, and those that sold again under $100,000 are kicking themselves right now. And they're going to jump in, and then they're going to realize, hey, Bitcoin's at $150,000. Maybe we should go into something that's going to give me 5 to 10x returns. So that's what's going to happen. And they're going to FOMO in, and our alts are going to skyrocket. All right. So that's exactly what's going to happen, in my opinion. Okay. Now we have EJ Anthony, PhD, on Twitter saying Fed losses are now over $232 billion. This is money that has gone to banks, including foreign ones, instead of the Treasury, and now taxpayers. Yes, taxpayers are going to make up the difference. Enjoy the taxes. Taxes are going to keep rising, regardless of whether or not you say politicians say that the taxes are going to rise. They're going to rise, and you know what? There's going to be indirect taxes, including inflation. You know, I just posted $37 trillion in debt. You know what? That inflation, you have not seen anything yet. And I say this every year, and I'm right every single year. Now we have Coin Bureau saying on Twitter, BRICS strikes back. China dumps 8.2 billion in US treasuries. And this is on top of the debt monetization that the US is buying its own debt. $10 billion twice in 1 week. That's the end game. You know, when nobody else wants your junk, wants your debt, you buy it yourself. Man, that's horrible. And now, you know, you have BRICS, they're dumping their US treasuries as well. China is rapidly unloading US dollar assets, slashing treasury holdings by 44% since 2013. Ooh, and they're buying gold. And they're probably going to buy Bitcoin as well. So they don't want US dollars anymore. This is the end game, guys. This is what happens. This is why central bank digital currencies are coming. All right. Now we have this one. The household net worth in the United States rose 24.1% during the 4 years from Q1 2021 to Q1 2025, but increased a mere 2.4% after adjusting for inflation. That means 90% of the income was just higher prices, not more real wealth. What does that mean? Inflation, guys. I keep saying inflation's not going away for the rest of your lives, okay? That's why it's so important to get into inflation hedges like Bitcoin, like gold if you want. You know, I don't think that's the best inflation hedge. I think Bitcoin's the best inflation hedge. Wouldn't you think that? Okay, now let's go on to how bullish this unfortunate, you know, scenario went with Iran and Israel and the United States. Let's go back in history really quick, okay? This is from Crypto Wizard. This is really good tweet here. What if I told you the war is bullish? On March 20, 2003, the Iraq War began and the SPX saw a sizable correction, as you can see in this graph right here, and after it had a 35% gain. So in other words, it rose 35%. So here's the thing, guys. There's so many people panicking. And if the S&P rose 35% from here, if that, I mean, do you know how far Bitcoin would rise as well? Bitcoin rises much faster than the S&P. So this is why it's so incredibly bullish. No matter what is happening around the world right now, this bull market is fully intact, and it's going to play out regardless of what goes on and what major people or major bears are saying in this space. And I see a lot of bears, and it kind of blows my mind, you know. And think about it this way: we've only had a 33 to 35% pullback. Only if one of those. Guys, I mean, this is ridiculous. Like, this is the easiest bull market ever if you're holding Bitcoin. All right, it's as simple as that. So if you do want to check us out at learningcrypto.com. You want to see when we're buying, when we're selling, and when we're going to buy back in the bear market, because the bear market is going to be fan-frickin-tastic, guys. I know I keep saying that, but you got to prepare now for that, because if you want to be miserable during the bear market, well, follow all the other guys that think we're just going to go up forever, because we're not going up forever. I'm going to turn into a bear, so just realize that, okay? And we're going to kill it. Talk to you soon.